Hi everyone, Al the Psych here. I have a quick video for you today for informational purposes only that I've entitled Anxiety During Interview. Information is taken from the impact of interviewees' anxious and nonverbal behavior on interview performance ratings. Wow. That's from the Journal of Personnel Psychology. Authors are Mastrella, Powell, Bonaccio, and McMurtry, and this was published online March 8th, 2023. So there's a lot of details to it. I'm going to just make it as simple as possible. You'll have to go to the research article yourself to get all the details. But participants, the raters, watched a video recording of an actor delivering scripted responses to interview questions. Now, the participants, the raters, in the high anxious non-verbal behavior condition gave lower interview performance ratings than those in the low anxious non-verbal behavior condition. Okay, if you understand that. Okay. So what's interesting is that, and this is taken from Schneider and from 2019 and also Zhang 2021. Interview anxiety is not predictive of later job performance, which suggests that a highly anxious interviewee may receive a low interview rating despite having the potential to be a good performer if hired. I think that's real important. Okay, so it's very possible that employers can pass on qualified individuals because of anxious behavior and they can actually hire less qualified individuals. So if anxious interviewees provide answers with strong content, but simply appear anxious while doing so, then the interviewer's low ratings of interview performance may reflect interviewers' bias. Okay. Now, even if the potential job is one in which interpersonal interaction is not a big part of the job, so it's not job relevant, individuals with anxious behavior scored lower than non-anxious individuals. Now, the interviewer may detect nonverbal cues, for example, fidgeting, lack of eye contact, things like that, and jump to the conclusion that the interviewee is anxious and consequently less qualified. Okay, and there's really not a connection there. They're kind of taking a leap here. So on the one hand, interviewees can learn to, have to learn to better control their anxiety so it does not manifest in these, anxious nonverbal behaviors. And there's like service programs, I think, that can train interviewees just to kind of prepare and actually, at least exude a confident outward appearance, acting as if, and you've probably heard a lot about that. If you haven't, go online, you'll find a lot about that going back to Alfred Adler, talked about acting as if, and then there's information on TED Talk about that, basically acting as if or faking it till you make it type of thing. So you want to display that outward appearance of feeling confident, even though you may not feel confident, but we're talking about getting a job here. Now, on the other hand, it's also important to inform interviewers that interview anxiety is not predictive of job performance and should therefore not be a factor in the interview performance ratings. Again, real important. So everybody's got to learn a little bit. The people that are doing the hiring have to kind of learn that, okay, yeah, that anxiety is really not, in most cases, not relevant to job performance. From my own thoughts, assuming you've done a good job on your resume, and you do want to do a good job on your resume. When I was working as a school psychologist, sometimes I would sit on orals, and sometimes I would work on paper screenings. And when I first started out, I remember I was going through paper screenings, kind of looking for everything that was on the checklist in terms of what we're looking for. And one of the other individuals that had been doing this for some time, looked at this one resume and said, "This one, we're not even bothering with this one because there was something that he found on it. It didn't look right or something. I forget all the particulars about it. But because of that, he pretty much just tossed it aside. This person is not moving on, to the orals. So you want to make sure that you've answered the questions, that your resume is complete, that you've done a good job on that. Just answer the questions the way it's laid out for you. Don't take any little shortcuts, as much as sometimes these questions seem to be a little redundant. Okay, now in terms of maybe helping yourself out in terms of the interview, my thought would be also to familiarize yourself to the place and maybe even some of the people in which you're doing the interview, if you're not familiar with it. So you're looking at one particular place that you want to interview. Make yourself a little bit more comfortable by going there, just knowing what's happening, maybe meeting a few people if possible, because that familiarity typically is going to help you reduce some of the anxiety that you might already have. And so that should help you with the oral part of that interview. And also practicing and visualizing handling the interview in a relatively confident way. And there are other strategies that I'm sure you can find online in terms of, if you don't know the answer, there's like a little strategy. Well, I'm not particularly sure about that one, but I will find out about that. Things like that, just to help you get through an interview. And that you'll have to do a little bit more digging on to get some of the particulars. But a lot of just preparing, not just knowing the subject, but also just preparing in terms of dealing with some of the stressors. Work on your visualization, breathing. That should help you perform a little bit better in terms of not looking so anxious, at least outwardly. And who knows, maybe you get the job. Okay, good luck, and that is it.